because anything can happen in the relay. You can pass out of the zone, you can run on the line, you can drop the baton. Tons of things can happen. Florida has the collegiate record from 2 years ago, as well as the meet record. South Florida with the collegiate leader, but that's likely to go in this meet. Here is USC. They will be starting in lane 7. There is their personnel. Jacob Andrews will lead off. Garrett Kaland, who scored big points in the 200 for the Trojans, will anchor.
Well, and one of the things that the sprint coaches at USC told me is that there are just a couple guys on this team who came in here specifically just to run the relays. They're not in individual events, but Jake Andrews has been starting this relay off for USC all season long. There's TJ Tomljanovich of Arkansas. We know what this Arkansas squad can do. Stephen McElroy will go second, try to break this thing open for the Hogs. Jaden Smith will bring it home for the Razorbacks. And Texas A&M, look at this squad. Cutler Zamzow there in the second position for Quarson, and they're going to give it to Ahmad Robinson, who does probably his best running in the relay, but they're going to be in lane 5. This thing is going to get gritty.
Well, let's flash back to Virginia Beach, the indoor NCAAs back in March. And the Trojans were in that race, but look at this, a big crash, batons flying, athletes sent out at the wrong time. Just about everything that could possibly happen did happen. And USC ended up winning their section. There's Coach Chris Bucknam from Arkansas trying for a rerun, thinking about a rerun, went ahead and just let it go. USC wins their first title in a ton of years. There are the lane assignments with A&M in 5, Arkansas in 6, USC in 7. USC finishes 4th or better. They win the team title, which means they repeat, or actually win the indoor, win the outdoor, but they haven't won the outdoor in 49 years.
Well, it's interesting. USC has run 3:02 without Garrett Kaland, and he is in the lineup today. It looks like he's going to run anchor for the Trojans. So you got to think that they're able to run a little bit quicker than that. Well, maybe we don't see Garrett Kaland yet, but I see Max Thomas is not in their lineup, but I see him down there in the number 2 spot.
From the inside, BYU, Florida, South Florida, then Penn State, Texas A&M, Arkansas, then on the outside lane, Southern Cal, Iowa, and Alabama. Here's the disclaimer. We're given a list of runners that are supposed to be running in certain order. Sometimes it doesn't exactly work that way. We'll do our best to correctly identify the athletes that are carrying the baton for their schools, but it doesn't always turn out the way we're told. For example, USC has already had a substitution of Max Thomas for William Jones on the second leg. USC in good shape here. By the way, Arkansas has never won this event on the men's side.
Well, Chewanga going really well there in lane 9. And look who they're going to hand to, Lara.
Alabama hands off first.
Oh, he ran on the anchor leg, I believe, in qualifying just 2 days ago.
The teams in contention got to be really aware of the lines on that track. Now they're past all of those problems now that they're off the turn. Zamzow for A&M.
Well, USC now in dead last, and this is Max Thomas trying to make up some ground. They have got some work to do. Keep an eye on South Florida as well.
That's Iowa in second. They had a better baton pass, so they take over the lead. That's unusual. A&M usually very good on the exchange. 45-2 for Zamzow and A&M, but it is Iowa in the lead. Now A&M making a move. That is Kamar for Quarson for the Aggies, and for Iowa, Josh Pugh. For South Florida, that is Corey Otte.
And I believe that's Jalen Knox for the USC Trojans there, sitting in 7th position now.
Jonah Feehill on third leg for Arkansas. A&M and South Florida going to exchange together. Who has the better exchange? A&M by a lot. Ahmad Robinson, and now Florida into the mix. Justin Braun for the Gators, but Ahmad Robinson, we know what kind of relay duty he could do. He ran 43.20 on his leg last year when they set the collegiate record. SC is way back. They needed to be 4th or better to win the title. But the race is Florida and A&M. And look at Ahmad Robinson. He didn't get it done in the Open 400, but this is his last race as an Aggie. He's going to do everything he can, but here comes South Florida. South Florida, they are the collegiate leader, and they win the title. A&M second. USC way back. Okay, that's dangerous.
Well, that was Gabriel Maranta. We saw him in the Open 400 meters just get tackled by his teammate. With South Florida, 3 flat. Texas A&M 3 flat as well.
We're still waiting for the results to come in, and we're up to 6th place, and there's no USC. So we are going to need to sort this out when we get the points. South Florida scores with 10, but they were not in contention. A&M got 2nd. That's 8 points for the Aggies. And Arkansas got 3rd. That's 6 points for the Hogs. USC finished 8th. That's 1 point. Our crack staff is doing some quick math. That is surprising that USC ended up running 3:03.18 with that personnel.
Well, I expected to see Garrett Caitlin for USC on that anchor leg. And after that 200 meters, something must have happened. They did not have a chance to put him on that relay, but you knew the Texas A&M Aggies wanted to come down to the 4x4 and the Arkansas Razorbacks. This is certainly what they do best. Now take a look at the scores, Dwight. 41 for Texas A&M, 41 for USC. Co-national champions.
And 41 points is about the least you can score and win the title. 3rd place went to the Hogs at 40. Well, I said anything can happen in that 4x400. It's been a few years since we've had 2 teams share the title. I think it was Florida and Texas A&M about 10 years ago or so. Quincy Watts still happy. There's Pat Henry. Pat Henry, the coach at Texas A&M. Quincy Watts, the 1992 Olympic 400-meter champion, the head coach of the Trojans.
And what's interesting, we're going to show in 2025, USC will have won the NCAA indoor title, and they will have won the NCAA outdoor title as well.
It was indeed 12 years ago when Texas A&M and Florida tied with 53 points. 2013, 12 years ago. There it is. It's official. USC and Texas A&M sharing the title on the men's side. Arkansas 1 point back. And just think about if their 4x400 teams could have performed better. Arkansas was 3rd, not a terrible performance, but an unusually poor performance for USC, finishing 8th in that 4x400. But it was a tight team battle, just like we knew it would be. There's Lance Harder, former women's coach at Arkansas, talking with Coach Pat Henry. That is coaching royalty. And Quincy Watts has done what it's been taking a long time for USC's men to do. Delivered national championship titles, indoors and outdoors.
And people around Quincy Watts will tell you that he's been a little stressed lately trying to bring home a national title, and now he's finally done it. Big staff though, big team. USC brought a really big team, big staff, and all the support they needed. But let's go back to the race. Look at the close. You got to see the close by Gabriel Maranta of South Florida. Here's Ahmad Robinson doing what Ahmad Robinson usually does. That's William Jones on the anchor for USC, but Maranta determined to spoil the day here. His teammate almost took him off his feet, but Ahmad Robinson getting the Aggies all the way up into the front. And they go out, clear out into lane 3 and then some. And that's Sam Ogazi for Alabama, bringing it home strong. This is a way to get hurt. We got a U.S. National Championships coming up in about 3 weeks' time.
Well, think of this. If South Florida hadn't run such a great race, and they absolutely did, and A&M wins that race, they win the title. Pat Henry, he got it done at LSU all the years that he was there, and then he's been at Texas A&M for decades and just replicated the amazing performances, men's and women's team titles, many of them in the early part of the century. But there are the final results of that 4x400. 31/100ths of a second, South Florida over Texas A&M. Arkansas was back there in 3rd, Iowa 4th, and USC hanging on by a thread, scoring that 1 point. Had they scored just 1 place higher, they would have been national champions all by themselves. But 2 good teams, deserving coaches sharing the title here in 2025, both scoring 41 points. And like indoors, USC did not have one event where they had an event winner.